Vaibhav. In today's session, we are seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average struggling to cross and hold about 35,000. And as the US session is approaching, we are seeing selling momentum building up. And right now, the Dow is down more than 150 points from the day's high. And it looks likely for today's session the momentum is likely to be on the bearish side, and we will be looking for the trading opportunities. Mostly, we will be looking for the scalping opportunities. I'm not really expecting big moves, but keeping in mind the steep resistance closer to the 35,000, we can look for shorting opportunities whenever we have the stop loss level within our requirements. If you consider the data docket for the day, during the Asian trading hours, we got the employment data for the Australia, and afterwards, the China's GDP number was also released. These both the data sets for both the countries are pointing to the economic expansion taking shape in the Australia and China respectively. And if we consider the Australia's employment number, the unemployment rate has gone down to 4.9% compared to the prior month's reading of 5.1%, as job addition of 29,000, more than 29,000 was seen for the month of June. For China, the GDP growth is going quite strongly, but it has moderated to some extent, and now for the second quarter of this year, the quarter ended June 2020, the GDP growth rate stands at 7.9% in terms of year on year. Whereas if we look at the same numbers from quarter on quarter perspective, we have the reading at 1.3%, and it is slightly lower compared to the estimate, but quite robust if we consider it compared to many other economies of the world. Moving to the European trading hours, we got the employment numbers for the United Kingdom, and for UK also the unemployment rate has no, it has slightly increased. I was thinking it has gone down, but it has now slightly risen to 4.8% compared to prior month's reading of 4.7%. And the job addeds are around 25,000 compared to the more than 100,000 jobs which were added in the prior month. But still, I think these numbers are quite good. Moving to the North American trading hours, we got these initial jobless claims for the week ended 10th of July just a while back, and as per the estimates, the actual reading was fairly close. We have the actual numbers at 360,000, and estimate were also close to this reading. So this time around, the most of the economists have called it correctly, and we have this continuous trend of declining initial jobless claims week on week. And just a while back, we also got the industrial production data for the month of June, and industrial production is still rising. It has grown both in terms of month on month as well as year on year, but the pace of growth has moderated somewhat. So that's the crucial takeaway from the industrial production data. And also, today is the second day of Fed Chairperson Mr. Jerome Powell's testimony. So watch out for that also. In yesterday's testimony, he has said that the Fed is expecting this inflationary scenario. Currently, the US is experiencing higher inflation, and Fed is of the view that this is going to be transient. But Fed is also not certain, and they will act if it proves otherwise. Now let's shift our attention to the technical segment. First, we will consider if there are any trading opportunity emerging in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And on the currency side, we will also consider the Euro USD's technical outlook. Let's start with the Dow Jones Industrial Average technical outlook first. This is the daily time frame chart, and just couple of days back I had done the session with the possibility of going for a buy trade in the Dow, and from there on, I think it hasn't risen much. It has mostly spent the time consolidating. And if we consider the price action so far in today's session, the resistance on the higher side is proving to be a steep hurdle to cross, and we have some correction happening in the Dow, and from days high the Dow has corrected almost close to 200 points, and I think as long as we don't really have any breakout on the either side, it will be better for us to keep looking for the scalping opportunities, keep the stop loss and the target price sharp enough, and rather than going for the trades which we might need to hold for a couple of days, I think it will be a better idea to simply cut down on losses and keep the stock target price in a proportionate manner. So if we want to go for the trade, I think we can look for the shorting opportunities as long as Dow remains below 35,000. So the price band of 34,800 to 34,900 is going to be a price band of optimum opportunities. The stop loss is going to be fairly sharp. The stop loss can be kept closer to the immediate swing high, while we expect the correction to deepen on the lower side. If you consider the technical parameters, both these technical parameters, the regression curve and the pivot point series, both are continuing to point northward, and that is the reason why we are not betting big on these trend reversal. Rather than that, we are looking for consolidation to take hold of the dough, and the dough is more likely to spend trading in sideways manner, where we can short it close to the higher side highest point near term swing high, while expecting it to get back closer to the immediate swing lows. So for today's session, the price area of around this convergence zone of 50 and 100 SMA is going to be of critical importance. We have these two SMAs converging around here, and the entry point, if we get the entry somewhere close to this level, the stop loss is not going to be that wide. I think the stop loss close to the yesterday's high should be good enough, so we will have to take the risk of around 150 points at the very max, and on the lower side we can expect the door to crash below these 200 SMA, and even try to get past this prior swing low. So that is going to get us the risk reward ratio of roughly 1 is to 2. And if you are willing to wait, it might even go on to test the prior swing low. But I think it will be better to keep the short term view and trade accordingly after considering the immediate price action. Now, on the currency side, we will see what's happening in the Euro USD. This is the daily time frame chart, and the Euro USD has been in a downward spiral for quite a while now. Last couple of days it has consolidated mostly. One day it is ending up higher, another day it is ending up lower. So there is no clear cut trend, but if we look at it the long term way, we do have this bearish situation unfolding in the Euro USD, where it is declining but only in an incremental manner. It is not really seeing sharp moves in a single session, but it is consolidating with buyers still favoring the bears, and I think this is likely to continue at least till this prior swing low. So we can expect the Euro USD to go it close to the prior swing low of around 1.170, and that can be utilized as our next target if we want to trade in the Euro USD. So if we consider the technical formation for the Euro, the outlook looks pretty bearish. Apart from the fact that last couple of days or even couple of weeks, the price action has been muted, and as I said earlier, also the consolidation is happening, where the formation still remains of lower high and lower low, and we have this consolidation closer to the 1.180, and I am expecting this formation to continue, and we can expect a new swing low below the immediate swing low, and in course of time the move towards first support of this month's pivot point series can be expected. So if we want to go for the trade in today's session, the price area of around this 1.184 level is going to be crucial. We have these three critical factors. The two SMAs of 200 and 100 are there, and also the price action high, the immediate swing high is not far off. The yesterday's high was around 1.184, and in today's session, after the initial jump on the higher side, the reversal has been fairly sharp, and that is going to change the tone for near term moves for euro usd. And if we are fortunate enough to get the entry for the euro usd anywhere close to this resistance zone, I think the stop loss is going to be fairly sharp. In that case, we can keep the stop loss just little above the days high. The stop loss of around 1.1855 should be good enough for any entry closer to 1.184, and on the lower side we can expect the retest of these prior swing low 1.177, or even beyond that if we are willing to wait for price action to play out and go on to move towards the prior swing low of the daily time frame around 1.17. So that's my take looking at the current price formation of the Euro USD. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Do check out the Jugoscopy Analytics page for further developments in the market, and also you can start trading using the JForex platform. If you need any kind of help installing it and getting familiar with it, you can write me in the feedback section. You can also follow us on the Facebook. Thank you all for joining in. Goodbye.